Alright, what is up? We are back with the semifinals of RQA, and I figured I'd go through a team builder this time, given that it is semifinals, the stakes are a little bit higher, so I'll actually explain a little bit of my team building process. So we're going up against Tennis Stud in the semifinals. He finished as the number 6 seed, and then he got chosen, I believe, last. Yeah, so he did get chosen last. So the number 1 seed chose the number 8 seed, the number 2 seed chose the number 5 seed. I got to choose the number 7 seed, and the 4 seed chose the 6 seed. Me beating the number 7 seed, I moved on. We got a big upset of number 8 over number 1, and then the 2 beat the 5. And the way the reseeding worked, the number 2 seed then played the number 8, and me as the number 3, I played the number 6. So facing Tennis Stud, we did play in the regular season. It was week 6, so pretty close to the end of the season. I did upload that video. It was where Choice Band and Iron Valiant went really good. It got 4 kills that game. Some key things about that game is Assault Vest Galler Slowbro kind of walled his whole team. He had a really tough time breaking it between Iron Moth, where he brought Meteor Beam Iron Moth, and just Kiram as well. And even like Primarina, it kind of stopped. Jirachi, Decidueye, nothing. He didn't really have a way of breaking my Galler Slowbro, so I'm expecting him to bring something to make sure he can break that this time. Some other key things, I didn't reveal anything on my terapagos, so I'm actually bringing the exact same terapagos set. He was close to winning with Iron Boulder. He was booster speed, but I did one shot with Fortress, and he needed about like 20% more chip on my Fortress in order to kill me. But it could have been a problem if he did do that. And yeah, so I'll just go through the 6 that he did bring last time. Iron Boulder, Iron Moth, Kiram, Primarina, Decidueye, and Jirachi, while I brought the Terapagos, Fortress, Galler Slowbro, Miascarada, Iron Valiant, and Cloth. I'm going through his team. What I expect to change, not too much. Decidueye really didn't do anything against me, although it did remove rocks. I wouldn't be surprised if Mandibuzz comes instead of Decidueye this week. And I was also really scared of Sandy Shocks that he didn't bring the first time. I think that could come as well. But in terms of other things, I don't think Vulpix comes. I would think he probably doesn't bring both Iron Moth and Kiram this time. If he does, I would expect maybe Kiram runs like a Dragon Dance set in order to, I don't know, catch like Assault Vest Slowbro off guard this time. Something like that. I still think Iron Boulder and Jirachi both come, just because Iron Boulder just hits super strong, and I wouldn't be surprised if he runs like a banded set this time, or something to just hit a little bit harder. Yeah, in terms of his Terra Captains, obviously the Vulpix isn't coming. If you bring a whole Vulpix to a semifinals game, you probably deserve to lose, so I could see the Piloswine maybe coming this time. With Terra Fairy, Terra Ghost, like that would give him a close combat switch in. Terra Ghost would be pretty good for Terapagos because Dark Pulse or Shadow Ball isn't really good into him, so he would kind of maybe be able to stop my Terapagos if he wants to run Terra Ghost. The Decidueye could come again. I don't think so, though, looking at my team. But again, he brought it for a reason the first time, so maybe. But yeah, without further ado, then I'll go into the 6 that I'm bringing this time. So we've got Booster Energy Iron Valiant. Last time I was choice banded and it put in a lot of work. This time I'm expecting him to have some sort of out for that. Bring something that can at least switch in on a choice banded close combat compared to last time where he really didn't. So I think I like being able to switch out my moves this time. And with Swords Dance at +2, close combat or Spirit Break's doing a lot to pretty much everything. I wasn't sure about the last move. I was considering knockoff, potentially like a Thunder Punch to hit Primarina a little bit harder, but he still could be bringing booster speed Iron Boulder, and that would still outspeed me. So I think I want to play it safe and just keep Shadow Sneak, because then I can SD. And everything else still does take a lot of damage from close combat and Spirit Break. I didn't need knockoff. It would just be really helpful if he ends up being the Terra Ghost on the Piloswine. But hopefully this can put in some work again like it did in the first time we played him. So next we got Choice Scarf Meowscarada. Same exact set that I ran in week 6. He only saw me click a U-turn turn 1, and that was it. So he doesn't know what other coverage moves I'm running, and I think it's still really good into his potential offensive mons like Booster Speed, Sandy Shocks, and things like that. I like having this as the fastest mon on the field at all times, just to keep everything else in check. Then we've got another same set. Fortress, Spin, Stealth Rock, Jar Ball, and Volt Switch. Same thing again. I like it as something that can switch into the Iron Boulder. It also kind of stops Jirachi if it is just like a physical Iron headset. And rocks are pretty important with both Iron Moth and Curum. If they're boots, great. They don't do as much damage to me, but if they're not boots, I want to make sure they're getting punished. And then Gyro Ball and Volt Switch just to keep up momentum, Rapid Spin to keep hazards off. Pretty standard Fortress set. I like to run this set all the time, and I did good last time stopping the Jirachi and the Iron Boulder, so hopefully it can do it again this week. We've got Galar Slowbro, same thing. Assault Vest just like last time. Ooh, I got a double picture on there. Oh well, not changing it. Same Assault Vest as last time, except I switched up the moves. Last time I was mixed with like Ice Beam and Fire Blast. This time I'm running Avalanche and Brick Break. I don't know if he'll run screens versus me, but I think it's decent. One of the things that I've found that if I don't run screens in a regular season game, running it in a second game is actually kind of good and can give you a little bit of a different strategy. I almost ran it this week, but I didn't. But I like Brick Break there just in case to catch off with some screens, but also it's hits Curum a little bit harder than Shell Sidearm. So that's why I got that there. Terapagos, this was the set I didn't need to reveal in our previous match. It looks really good into his team. Rock Polish, Meteor Beam, Terra Starstorm, and Earth Power. I can Meteor Beam the... blanking on the name, the Mandibuzz, or the Iron Moth, or something of that nature, and just get my boost, and hopefully I can Rock Polish on something else earlier. And then Terra Starstorm and Earth Power just hit his whole team super strong. I do need to make sure hazards stay off the field with my Fortress because I'm not running boots this week. But if I can chip things down and then get this in, this can definitely sweep late game. And finally, one of the Pokemon that I didn't bring the first time. The other 5 are the same, just a little bit different sets on some. Last time we brought Terra Cloth with Assault Vest. This time we're going Scarf, Terra Electric, MISMAGIUS. Wasn't fully sure. Cloth didn't do too much last time. I kind of brought it as like an AV Mon to deal with Sandy Shocks that didn't come. And it ended up just kind of being a sack between the Curum and the Iron Moth. So I figured this time I think I can run Terra Electric Mismagius. It still is kind of a Sandy Shock switch in. Power Gem hurts. Can't do much about that, but with a Choice Scarf, I'm outspeeding things, and I still hit decently hard with Shadow Ball and Terra Electric Thunderbolt on a lot of things on his team. And I'm also running Trick just to potentially stop either something that could be a switch in, like Mandibuzz could easily be a switch in, tricking that would be great. Piloswine could be a switch in, tricking that would be great. Things like that. Anything else that could maybe... Not really. Maybe like the Decidueye, if he's like a different Terra, could be good to get to kind of cripple that thing. Yeah. I haven't had too much success with Mismagius. I've only brought it twice. I did bring it week 1 at playoffs though. But yeah, these are the 6 that I am bringing. And I'll be back with the battle. Alright, and here we are with the battle. I went through the 6 that I was bringing in the team builder, so let's just get straight into my initial thoughts on first matchup. I was thinking I need to get my Terra off on Mismagius right away. Seeing that Sandy Shocks there is scary. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Earth Power kind of rolls through a lot of my team. Meowscarada is there and can live one hit if I need it to, but otherwise it can pretty freely Volt Switch on everything. And if it is like Scarf, then it's going to be outspeeding Well, nothing yet because I'm Scarf, Meowscarada, Mismagius, and Booster Speed Valiant. But it could be a problem if I have to use my booster energy early, if something gets knocked off, if I do end up tricking my Scarf. So I think that's what I want to do. I just want to lead with my Mismagius, get my Terra off, and then we'll go from there. So that's exactly what I do. I'll see what he leads with. I lead with the Mismagius, and he leads with the Piloswine. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna go for the trick the turn 1, because if he does stay in or he does go Mandibuzz, I can cripple both. But he makes a cool switch into Iron Moth. I'm gonna go right into Slowbro because that's always my Iron Moth check. He doesn't have a Specs now, so he's not doing too much damage to my Slowbro. But I do have to keep in mind that he is now faster than a lot of things on my team. I'm going to go into Fortress on the Kyurem because I'm thinking he's going to be like a physical set this time, as he actually shows Light Screen, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to get up my rocks, though. Seeing as this is dual screens, I'm fully expecting it to be Light Clay as well, so I definitely want my Stealth Rocks up. And I know that the Mandibuzz is now Scarf, so it's also going to take Rocks damage. As he goes Jirachi, I'm just going to Volt Switch out as he makes some cool plays here. We're going for Cosmic Power. I want to get those screens off the field, though, so I do just go for a Brick Break. And now I'm going to make a hard switch into Mismagius because I don't want him to keep spamming Cosmic Power against me. He goes for a Wish. Now I figured at this point he kind of has to switch out because I'm Choice Specs and Shadow Ball is still breaking through. He can't Cosmic Power and set up on me. So he goes into Iron Moth, and unfortunately I don't quite pick up the kill. But I know I live any hit from Iron Moth after he doesn't have the Specs anymore. He misses a Fire Blast, which is actually pretty important, as it lets me just do the same thing the next turn, stay in and go for the Shadow Ball. I wanted the chip so that Iron Moth was hopefully dying to the next round of Stealth Rocks. But he's going to go Sandy Shocks after I get that kill. And now I die, so I'm going to go into Meowscarada, hoping that he doesn't go for a Volt Switch, but he does. I couldn't really tell too much based on that damage. He might be Scarf, though. But he's definitely not Specs. As he goes Pylo, I don't want him to Ice Shard me and get chipped before I U-turn out, so I'm just going to go hard into my Fortress. He gets his rocks up, but this is the freest Rapid Spin of my life, so I'm going to go for that. Again, I don't have a switch into the Sandy Shock, so I'm just going to stay in Gyro Ball and hope I catch something as he Volt Switches out. He does just go into Jirachi, though, so Gyro Ball really isn't doing too much. But again, this Jirachi, knowing that he is the Cosmic Power set, I don't think he can actually touch me, so I'm just going to Volt Switch out on this. He goes for a Wish. This gives me an opportunity to bring in my Mismagius. I am Choice Specs, so I'm just going to go for the Specs Shadow Ball and hope I kill whatever switches in. He goes hard Sandy Shocks. I go for the Shadow Ball, and I get the roll. I believe this roll was 63 to 73, and I got 70%. So I think that's about a 30 to 35% roll on my end. And that's pretty huge. On Mandibuzz, I'm expecting him to click Defog, so I'm going to go into my Fortress. He actually just clicks Toxic. No Defog on Mandibuzz is kind of crazy. This gives me a very free Volt Switch to keep up momentum. And now, instead of going back into Mismagius, I'm going to go into Meowscarada because I want to get some items off. I want to ideally get rid of the Eviolite on my Piloswine, or on that Piloswine. But he does go out into Kyurem. I get his Light Clay gone. I'm just going to go right back into my Slowbro because I don't want him doing weird screen things again. So that's what he tries, which is perfect for me. So it's another free Brick Break to get rid of that screen that he set up. I only do 13% to Jirachi, though, unfortunately, so I'm just going to switch out into my Mismagius here. He does predict that and go for the Aura Sphere to kill me. Makes sense. I'm going to go into my Meowscarada, though, and just get another knockoff here. See what he does. He does sack the Kyurem, which I figured was fine. I just want to pick up kills at this point. I've still got 5 mons left, and he's down to just 3. He goes into Piloswine, and I don't quite want to sack my Meowscarada yet, so I'm just going to go out into my Fortress. He does make a cool double back into Jirachi here. He'll probably try and heal back up with a Wish. I'm just going to Volt Switch out to keep up momentum. He does try and get back healthy with a Wish. I'm just going to go out into into my Meowscarada. At this point, he knows it's pretty well over. It'd be tough for him to bring it back. I click knockoff, and he doesn't get his wish back. The Jirachi goes down. He's going to go out into Piloswine, and now at this point, I know it's over, so I don't mind sacking my Meowscarada. I'm just going to knock off the Violite. As he shows, he has a cool rest talk set on the Piloswine. He did say after the game that was more for Iron Valiant if I was like a choice banded set. Again, it gave him a very good close combat switch-in. But he knows it's over at this point, so he is just spamming Sleep Talk to let me kill him because his only move was Earthquake, Rest Talk, and Stealth Rocks. So I'm just going to go into Iron Valiant here. I go for the Spirit Break, which will do a KO. And then he'll go Mandibuzz, and the same thing will happen. So I'll just wait for it to play out here. Go faster. He goes for a Snarl, which is another cool thing. Wasn't expecting Snarl on the set, but I go for the Spirit Break, and there goes the Mandibuzz. That is a 5-0 win in semifinals, pushing me to the finals. I'm pretty happy, man. I didn't know what to expect going into the season. I just wanted another league to play in, and apps were open, and I was like, hey, why not? Let's do it. And I got first pick, so I got to try out Iron Valiant, and Meowscarada and Terapagos were both there on the wheel when it came back to me, so I thought that was a great pairing to try them out. And now we're in the finals. The number 8 seed did upset again the number 2 seed this time, so the finals is me at number 3 versus the number 8 seed. We didn't play them in regular season, which is great. I don't have to worry about rematches and changing sets like I did this week because that was a pain. I ended up bringing 5 of the same mons, only changing like 2 of the sets, and then 1 new mon. But yeah, next week I'll have the finals match out. I might do a live recording, or I might not. I don't know. I've been doing all these post-com, and it's been kind of bringing me luck. So I might just stick with post-com, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, hopefully we can keep this going, keep this playoff run going in the championship next week. All right, peace.